the next thing I want to discuss is who are the people who are more susceptible to get infected when they are exposed to the virus. So let's say this is a family of 5 people, 6 people. We have grandparents, we have parents, and then we have children. Okay, so 2 each, so the family of 6. Okay, so now we all get exposed to the virus by mistake, by chance, but whatever. And now who is going to be affected most? Most likely to be affected significantly and to the extent that it might affect their health in really adverse way, can even kill them, would be the grandparents, because they're above the age 60, 70, above the age 70 particularly. As we get older, we tend to accumulate health conditions, so they have underlying health issues. They all invariably always have high blood pressure, a bit of congestive heart failure. They're taking some of the medication that we know could increase the susceptibility of catching this, or not catching, but likelihood of it developing into pneumonitis. So they are going to be highest risk of this problem. Next, us, the parents. And the best or the strongest, as always in any herd, are the young ones. And that's in some ways it's good that it is not affecting the youngsters or the young people that much. Particularly children, the mortality rate is literally minimal, negligible. However, it's not a question of that if children are dying or not dying, or young people are dying or not dying. It's a question of, are they becoming the vectors, meaning are they the transmitting the spreading the bug around, the carriers, and that's a problem. So once again, the reason I'm explaining this thing in such detail is because you need to understand what the problem is and what is your job, what is your responsibility to yourself, to your mother, to your father, to your parents,
यदि आप इस तरह ही हेल्थ के बारे में जानना चाहते हैं तो सब्सक्राइब करें ये चैनल द हेल्थ केयर टुडे और बेल आइकन दबाएं ताकि हर नए वीडियो का नोटिफिकेशन सबसे पहले आपको मिले.
Parents, and then of course to your children. So that's as simple. Are there any effective or even partially effective treatments available for this virus? Yes, just the way we discussed about how the virus needs the environment which is essentially an acidic environment, to enter the cell, and it enters the human cell by using a particular gate, a door. It opens a door, and the door is called ACE2 receptor. So if there are reasons for a person to have more of this ACE2 receptors, or more door on the cells, so there's higher likelihood of this nasty bug getting into the cell. That's one thing. This virus, it has spikes on it. So the likelihood of the virus being able to attach to the door and doorknob and open it's higher in an acidic environment. So if there are methods of reducing the acidity of the cell, it would have prevented, or it would have decreased the degree of cell penetration of the virus. Next thing, remember I was telling you that the virus gets into the cell and then starts using the machinery there, starts using the factories inside the cell to make its own babies. Okay, now this also needs an acidic environment. So for example, there is a medication, and I know you have all heard of this, the chloroquine, and a more potent component of that is the hydroxychloroquine. Essentially what it does is it's mildly basic in nature, which is anti-acid in nature, you can think of it that way, and it essentially reduces the degree of acidity of the cell and the environment, or the around the cell. It also acts like a door or for the zinc to get inside the cell. once zinc gets inside the cell, it also inhibits the merging of the virus particle with the factory inside the cell. So that bond is broken by the zinc, number one. Number two, the acidic environment is reduced because this hydroxychloroquine is a base, it's a weak base. So once the acidity of the cell goes down, the likelihood of the virus entering the cell and also using up the factory inside the cell to make its own babies, both of these things go down. Hence, that's a concept behind the attempt to use hydroxychloroquine or chloroquine for prevention prophylaxis. How effective it's going to be, we have to see. Typically in our field, we like to see randomized controlled trials, placebo, controlled trials, essentially. But at this point of time, we do not have time for that. So we will just have to think of it, well, what is the harm in using a drug like that? There are certain harms. Actually, that being said, chloroquine and hydroxychloroquine actually is safe enough to be used in a pregnant woman. And that's a big thing. So it is safe, quite safe, because if you can use it in a pregnant woman, then obviously that's the highest category of safety check for any medication, I think. So that's one thing. Secondly, it does have side effects. This particular medication likes the melanin or the color of the skin. So it affects anything that has melanin. It can cause skin reactions, something even a very dangerous type of skin reactions called Stevens-Jones syndrome. It does affect the retina and can cause retinopathy. And then there are some other side effects. It is excreted by the kidney. So we need to make sure the kidney is fine. It cannot be used in someone whose kidneys are not working properly. So it's a potential it has potential, I think. Next, vaccine. Generation of a vaccine. It will take time because the immunity just needs a time to be ready to mount that immunity. You cannot rush it. There's nothing that you can do to rush it. So sleep well, eat well, listen to music, stay happy, talk to your friends and family via phone, internet, Skype, FaceTime, etc., etc., etc. Do not, if you can, or at least limit your people-to-people interaction. This is a very difficult time, but this is only going to last for a couple of more weeks, and then we'll all be fine.